Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Window Seat. Today I've got with me Izzie Farr, and she is an amazing film photographer from the UK. She mostly photographs street and landscapes, things like that, so a little bit different to some of the content on this channel. We also discussed her open letter to Kodak addressing diversity issues within the film community and how companies such as Kodak tend to perpetuate those issues and create an environment that isn't inclusive and isn't representative of the real community, the real film users. I hope you find the chat as insightful as I did. I'm going to link Izzie and all of her socials in the description for you to check out. But without saying much more, I'm going to let Izzie introduce herself.
Thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to just give a little bit of an introduction as to who you are, what you do, I guess?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to talk to you. So my name is Izzie. My Instagram name is Izzie_Farr. I live in London, but I'm from Nottinghamshire. Analog photography is a very all-consuming hobby of mine, in the best possible way. And yeah, I initially got into it a couple of years ago via my best friend who has loads of film cameras. Her name's Josie. She encouraged me to just try like a point and shoot first, the little Olympus XA2, which I still use sometimes. And then my mum's hairdresser Brian gave me a Canon A1 after he heard that I had a film camera. And he said, "Oh, you can have it because I don't use it anymore. I haven't used it for years." And he just gave me his Canon A1 and a bunch of lenses. That was like a year and a half ago. And I've just I was sort of like trying it out for a while. And then I guess I fell into a bit more of a style and a bit more of a confidence with it probably like last winter.
And for those of you, I'm going to put your work on screen, but for people who haven't seen your work, would you kind of describe it in any specific way, like particular way?
It's quite hard because I have been like trying a lot of stuff really, and as I said, I've only really properly like got into it, I guess, quite recently. So I almost think I am still trying things out, but I think being based in the UK and concentrating quite a lot on landscape and nature and green spaces in London, like parks and stuff, and London parks, I guess my photos end up being very seasonal. Like they acknowledge the changing of the seasons, and being in the UK, it's such a dramatic change between the seasons. It's like it's hard to avoid.
Absolutely.
But looking through, like before this interview, I was like I knew this question might come up, so I was like looking through my Instagram, and you can see a complete different change between like the colours that I've been posting recently for summer. Like they're all like really blue and yellowy and bright, whereas like in the winter they were like brown, like earthy sort of colour, that kind of thing, white. I actually really love that, like moody kind of thing, whereas in the summer it looks a bit more like happy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it creates like, some people like to have a theme for their Instagram. I guess yours is quite like naturally made, isn't it? Like it's just by what you're shooting at that time.
Yeah, I don't mean to do it, like it's just the seasons here, and I am a bit like I am quite strict about like if I took this photo in the summer, I have to post it in the summer, not all the time, but I do prefer to sort of stick to the season. Like I'd feel weird posting a photo from the summer in the winter, for example.
Yeah, definitely. I get what you mean.
So
if you started out obviously with film, did you ever like dabble with digital beforehand, or was it just a straight into film kind of thing?
Not really. I had like the rubbish kinds of digital cameras growing up.
Yeah, I know the ones you mean. I feel like we've all forgotten about them. We don't talk about them, but
no, they kind of should be framed or something. The little ones that you have on like a night out. So not really, not properly. And I did buy a digital camera last autumn because I was getting a bit scared about how much analog photography was costing. But I just didn't use it, and then I sold it recently to buy a film scanner.
They're your priorities there.
So analog for me.
So do you think you'll ever go into digital, or are you kind of like your mind's set up, analog's the way?
I never say never. I guess it's good to I wouldn't say ever, like never, but I did try. Maybe I didn't try hard enough though. And I just definitely prefer analog right now, but I might try it in the future, I guess. Maybe if if I could afford a better camera or something, I think that's good. But I was told by someone once that a great way to learn like manual is actually through analog photography, because I don't really know exactly know why, but I think it's true for me anyway. I've learned a lot.
I think it makes sense. You don't have as many clutches, you don't have as many things to kind of rely on. You have to do it all yourself, really. Even down to just like metering and stuff like that. Like with digital, your camera does that for you, and you can see the way that the light reacts and stuff like that.
Although sometimes with analog it's confusing, because you're like, how did that photo turn out like that? Like
yeah.
Yeah,
and there's definitely more variables as well, like, you know, the way it's processed, the way it's scanned, all that sort of stuff. It's a lot more different things that are kind of like in the box as to how the photos come out. But what do you think kind of is for you the charm with film photography?
I mean, everyone says this, but I really do like the slower process of it. Like I used to hate the thing of when you used to like take photos on your phone on holidays and stuff, or like even my old rubbish analog digital cameras, I always found it really stressful how many photos you had, and you had to go through and delete them and sort them. I actually quite like having less photos from analog, and like you'd think you just put a bit more thought into the photo you're taking. And also it makes me go, do I actually want to take photos right now? Like, is this the best lighting condition to take a photo? And then if I don't feel like it is, I'll be like, oh no, I won't, I'll just enjoy the moment. I think it makes you think a little bit more about it.
Definitely.
And it just looks amazing, I think. As well.
Definitely.
Just looks so nice.
I think even like, obviously once it's been processed and scanned and all that, there's not even like as much like post-production. It kind of just looks good straight out of camera. So
yes,
it's nothing to do.
It's really nice. There's been like I might do a little bit of, I'm not like a diehard in terms of like, I do edit it like a little bit, like if I feel like it needs it, but like it's really nice when you get a roll and you're like, I don't think I need to do anything. Like maybe I need to straighten it a bit or crop it a bit, but it's nice, and that's all you have to do. So yeah.
It definitely is. So in terms of like your favorite kind of shoot, and I know that what you kind of do is very travel landscape orientated, so maybe your favorite place or something, what would be your ideal, if you could kind of design somewhere to take photos, where or what would it be of?
Well, I'm really drawn to like historic places, historic landscapes. I don't know, I guess like I'm in between like something that would be really like a moody castle or something like that. Kind of, I guess, and you might look at it and go, oh, that's definitely that's definitely somewhere in the UK, you know, that's something that's kind of quintessentially British or something like that. You know, you look at that scene, you're like, oh, that is like, yeah, I could tell where that is. But then so like maybe something that's kind of moody, like misty, like a castle or something at sunrise. But then I also love a sunset.
Yeah.
And if I had to really pick everything that would be ideal about a shoot, it would be probably like a sunset by the sea, probably on holiday with some beers.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
Something like that, just like really like kind of natural, but I don't know. Yeah, I think either of those two would be cool.
Yeah. And at the moment, is kind of photography kind of a hobby for you, or is it something that you're doing? Yeah.
It's a hobby, yeah. It's absolutely a hobby.
Is that something that you'd want to monetize, or is it just you're happy with it being a hobby and that's how you kind of see it going?
I mean, I see it as a hobby for now, because I'm still learning. Like, for example, I've just bought a film scanner, so I'm trying to learn how to like scan my own films now. But I mean, yeah, if I'm being honest, it would be lovely to make some money from it somehow. Like, I don't really know much about it, and I guess it'd be interesting to know how people do make money from it. Like, I mean, I guess landscape photography, I feel like there's less ways to make money from it other than
you could do stuff like work with tourism boards and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? But I guess there are less ways to kind of monetize it. And I think as well, like I think we're very caught up in everything that we do has to be monetized and has to be a career in that. But actually it's quite nice just to have a hobby sometimes and it be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went on the She Hearts film photo walk the other week, and we were talking a little bit about like when someone's hobby becomes their main income, or at least partially their income, and it sort of maybe takes away the fact that it is a hobby from you. So maybe I don't know, I think it is nice that it is just a hobby right now, and there's no pressure on it.
Definitely, it kills it sometimes. I think when you know you have to be doing something, it changes your kind of relationship with it.
But it would be cool maybe to sell some prints or something, like something just like I don't know. We'll
no,
see.
definitely.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the walk that you just went on, and that was, if you want to explain kind of what it was a walk with loads of different female photographers, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it's set up by, I can't remember their Instagram names, but then it's set up by Emma, two people called Emma and Sarah, and they basically, I think their idea came from when they went on a regular photo walk, like a mixed one, met like guys and gals.
Mixed.
And I think they just noticed that, and I think they've been on previous ones before, I assume, where they just noticed that there weren't as many women there, and I guess they were thinking, I wonder why women don't seem to want to come. And with the whole Kodak thing, we've been talking a bit about like it's a bit of a myth that there are fewer female photographers. I don't think that's true. Like maybe professional because of how frustratingly the industry is, but like from a hobby level, I think there's just as many. So they're just like, oh, why is that? And I guess it's because maybe there's an element as a woman you have to think a little bit more about, like it's maybe a bit more intimidating to go somewhere on your own or something, or I don't know, people have various different things. Some people have a bit of a fear of like having the techie talk and like don't want to be like, of course, mansplained. And I'm sure you go to these places and that actually doesn't happen. It's probably just like the fear of it potentially happening holding people back from going to these photo walks. So they came up with this idea to make it like an all women photo walk, and it's anyone that identifies as a woman and non-binary, and it's LGBTQ plus friendly as well. So it's like creating a safe space, and I guess the idea is that you become comfortable going on these photo walks, you meet people, and potentially you can go with those people to
of course,
it builds up your confidence, and you go, actually it's not so bad, I can hold my own, I can talk about film stuff.
Definitely. And it's creating that community, isn't it? I think film is definitely having a resurgence at the moment, and I feel like especially in the UK, like a lot more people are starting to shoot film, a lot more people I meet have an interest in getting started. And I think I don't know, maybe this is just me not looking hard enough, but I feel like in America there's a lot more of a community around the film photography, and in here we're just starting up with that. Like it's just getting there, like we're starting to find each other, if that makes sense.
I think so, nice I know what you mean. I think there's a lot of, I think there are quite a lot, but like it's just the lack of, and I think infrastructure. I don't know if there's a bit of a thing with, maybe this has just occurred to me, like if you're British, there is a little bit of a reserve maybe that might make you go, oh god, I'm not going on a photo walk, no way. I'm not meeting strangers. Whereas I think maybe in America or the US, maybe this is completely like making generalizations, but I think they might be just more up for like, I'm just going to go for it, kind of that kind of mentality. I think there's just a bit of a, I don't know.
I know what you mean.
It was nice. I've never met anyone who I'd met on Instagram before in real life, so that was like a first for me. So that was really nice meeting people I've chatted to online. So
it is nice. It's nice how I think Instagram plays a role in the resurgence and connecting, kind of like like film labs, like Take It Easy, or like obviously Analog Wonderland, like big film shops in the UK and stuff like that, that are becoming like pillars of this photographic film photography community. That's kind of,
and because Analog Film sponsored the She Hearts film photo walk, so it's like they are a big part of it, which is great.
Definitely. And I know the guys over at Front Photography, they're building something that's kind of like very focused around the UK film market or photography market in general. Then you've got the Northern Sustainable Darkroom, like all of these little things are like popping up all over the place. It's really nice to kind of see it, everyone coming together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the Kodak thing. So do you want to explain what that is? What you mean by that?
Yeah, so I try to keep it succinct. So like I basically wrote a letter to Kodak on my blog. And my blog is, I've only really just set it up. It's about like film photography, basically. I wrote, an open letter to Kodak on my blog addressing the lack of diversity in the photographers featured on their Instagram page. Basically, I, through various other people, I saw that they had been saying stuff about their page being a lot of men, and I went to have a look myself, and it's like 30 posts in a row were men, and they were mostly white as well. So, and it's quite shocking because 30 in a row, that's like 2 months worth of posts. That's a long time. And yeah, there were lots of other people commenting on the posts before the letter, sort of asking Kodak, why are you only featuring men, you know, that kind of thing. And basically I posted this letter, and it got some attention, and lots of people liked it and supported it and shared it, and it seems to have got the attention of Kodak because they replied to me via email acknowledging that they're going to review their content plan, and then they have been posting female photographers recently. I think there's 7 now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's a huge feat to kind of, you know, not only recognize that that's an issue, but make something happen from it.
But it's a shame they haven't acknowledged anything publicly, but they're a big corporate company. I'm not sure they're going to
definitely. It's one of those things, isn't it, where, you know, think you can always like hope and wish for like a big win, but those small wins are just as important in kind of like driving forward change and stuff like that.
I think so. I feel pretty positive about it. I don't think it's over yet. I think they've still got a bit of an issue with they're not been posting so much. I don't know, I think there's still a bit, we'll keep an eye on it. There's still issues, I think, with them posting maybe not so much diversity in terms of like race and ethnicity. I think it's very, you know, and I acknowledge it's an American company, but it's global, and it's used, their work is used, you know, and you know, even in America, like they should be representing the diversity of America as well. So like, and they're not really doing that. It's very, very concentrated on the West Coast, California.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, the amazing photos, obviously, but it's like there is more.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important that, you know, industry leaders like that, people who do perpetuate the culture around a whole medium, are kind of held to account and, you know, change as the world changes, because I think really, from what we're seeing, Kodak hasn't changed as the world's changed, and it's still very much, you know, kind of seen as though like photography is this like boys club, when actually, you know, we're showing them it's not.
Exactly. And I was saying sort of yesterday, there's a lot of like, I'm not a marketing expert or anything like that, but speaking to this film revival, particularly among younger people, and they've obviously grown up in a world that is like celebrates diversity and representation. They expect it, I think, more so than maybe older generations, because they've grown up with it. And I don't think Kodak's quite tuned into that, and like they're gonna may potentially lose a very important audience if they don't sort of listen up, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where it comes into like, not only should they, because it's the right thing to do, but if they're only focusing about their bottom line, this is affecting their bottom line, because, you know,
if you want to trade them in their language, as a company, it's like, this is like clearly something you should be tuning into, like, you know, they shouldn't be propping up a status quo that is outdated, and it's needless, because just as many women submit the photos to them and are amazing photographers, and it's weird that they're just posting men,
definitely
white men as well.
I know. So what do you think, and I know this is a very big question and we probably won't ever be able to tackle this, but, you know, what do you think needs to change in the industry, and how do you think we can kind of start that process? A big one, I know, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Throw you in at the deep end.
I guess there's like two different levels, isn't there? There's the professional level, and then there's like the amateur level, like or like people who like do it semi-professional, or like, you know, freelance or whatever, like the sort of the lower level.
Yeah.
I guess from the professional level, I guess they need to start acknowledging that that there is a huge imbalance, and like asking why. And like the people who are like the gatekeepers of these things, I don't know that often it's not necessarily individuals, it's companies, and they need to sort of start asking why there is such an imbalance, and, you know, take away some of the obstacles that prevent people, you know, prevent there being more diversity and representation.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess like you might look to like museums, galleries, those kinds of things, and lots of these like museums and galleries do promote a lot. I've started to promote lots more work by women, or exploring how female photographers, for example, in the past have contributed to photography, because that's something that seems to be skipped over quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I guess they need to we need to do away with these myths about there's just less women who are into photography, and proceed to just take away those obstacles that prevent certain groups from making it to a professional level. And then I guess from like an amateur perspective, because I guess every professional is an amateur at once, I guess, so, you know, they do tie in, but I don't know, I think that's where maybe you can, if you create a bit of a community and you support each other, like we've seen recently with the people supporting the Kodak letter, I guess if you speak up collectively and you can use social media and the algorithm to your advantage to maybe get these sort of big companies to take notice, and then from there, if more diverse people can get onto these big Instagram magazines, you know, it might help their career, it might help them get noticed, it might help more people get recognised, I guess.
Yeah. Something I always found interesting, and I don't know the exact statistics, so I'm gonna have to, I'll find out post interview, put it up on the screen, but I studied graphic design when I was at uni, and one of the statistics that they kind of told us was, so when you're at uni, like the kind of demographic split, there's more women that study graphic design than men, but when it comes to actually industry, that is like the opposite, so you've got more men in industry than women. And what I always found interesting is that they know this, and they know that this data exists, but no one really seems to be trying to understand why that happens, or how we can kind of change that. Like, why do women do a degree in a creative subject and then just drop off, like never make it to the industry? Like, how does that, where does that disparity kind of like come into play? And it is stuff like that. It's like, we know it happens, but no one's really taken the time to say, what can we do about it?
It's odd, isn't it? Like, because the statistic for the female professional photographers, you know, it was like globally 70 to 80% of photography students are women, and they only account for like 13 to 15% of professional photographers.
Yeah, so it's a very similar thing to graphic design, isn't it? So it just seems like,
I think it's like, I mean, I'm not an expert, but I think it's, judging from what other industries say, I think it's just like, you know, a bit of an overhang from like decades of when men were predominantly the only people who could be professionals, and therefore those people are maybe now the people who are like the gatekeepers, and maybe through unconscious bias or maybe a bit of willful ignorance, they promote more work by men, and therefore they get elevated to professional status and get their work recognised more than other people. I don't know. That's
a complex subject, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only way I can think of it. But then I think there must be other things at play as well. I don't know. But it's everywhere. It's in every industry.
Yeah. It's strange. You'd think that by what are we in? I was going to say 2020, but that's been and gone. We're in 2021, and things, you know, there's still a lot of work to do, isn't there, across kind of all areas?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it is particularly bad in like visual arts, I think. There are more, and it's don't really know why.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see kind of how Kodak kind of adapt to, because obviously there's been a petition, hasn't there, where people have do you want to say a little bit about that?
So I think her Instagram name is Evertender Studios, and she basically, we were talking a little bit about should we do a petition to like go with the letter, and then she set one up, and it's sort of connected to the letter, and it's at the, if you want to sign it, it's like at the top of the letter.
I'll link it in the description as well, yeah.
And it's also on Evertender Studios' bio as well. And yeah, it's basically sort of to recognise how many people sort of agree with the sentiments of the letter and want to make Kodak notice. And there's been lots of lovely like comments on the petition from people, which has been really nice. And Second Son, like another Instagram account, made a video about the petition comments. Yeah, which is great.
No, that's good. It is really good to see kind of everything coming together and people talking about things that are important and that will change hopefully the landscape of
I think so.
But
I think it's just drawn people were talking about it before, but like I think it's been I had loads of messages from people, men and women, saying, oh, I didn't actually even really notice, and it's like now I see it everywhere now. It's just sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you don't notice these things like until it's sort of put in front of you, and you're like, oh yeah, God, that's like loads of accounts do this. Wow, it's not just Kodak. So I just thought Kodak was particularly bad, and given they're a big company.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think like portraiture will be something that you'll get into, like personally?
I really want to try it. Really want to try it. Yeah, it's weird because I never really saw the appeal before. When when I first started getting into analog photography, and I was like trying to find accounts to follow on Instagram, I was never that, I wasn't that fussed about it. But then recently, like past few months, I understand it completely now, and I'd love to try it. But
no, I was the same, to be honest. When I started, I was really into like street photography and stuff, and portraits are just not something that I thought I'd do. Like I don't know, like I guess the concept of it is a bit strange, like just taking photos of strangers and like, do you know what I mean? Like one thing about my work, because I do mostly portraiture now, is like I know a lot of photographers have like their own work up in their house, but if I did that, it'd just be like random people on my like wall, and it'd just be a bit weird. So like but it definitely, obviously I'm a portrait photographer now, so definitely maybe it'll grow on me.
It is not, it's just something about, and I met who I just mentioned, Laura Loz.cam. I met her at the Photowalk, and I was asking her about like why she does it, and she was just like, I don't know, I just love taking photos of people. There is something about it, I think.
It's love. It's so nice to hear people just genuinely like enthusiastic about it, because I don't know, I before I started photography, I don't think I realized that like there was so many photographers, like, but when you become kind of engaged within the community, you realize how many people are just into this like art form that I don't think is spoken that much about, like when you're a kid. Like I think when you're a kid and you're like, oh, I want to be an artist, you think of like a painter or something, and you don't think of like photography as kind of like a artistic career.
And it's not taught in schools. Like you do art and stuff in school, but you never get to do like a photography. But I guess that would be hard because of the equipment.
That's true.
So I get that, but I think paints are probably cheaper than the camera. But like I guess it's like you don't get to learn about any photographers or like that as much in school. But
I think that's the thing as well, that I think photography is often reduced down to the science, and the art is kind of taken out of it, and people don't always think of photographers as artists. I know there's that kind of thing that everyone says, like photographers don't just push a button, and it's so true. Like it doesn't really matter if you know how to use a camera. If you don't have that eye for it, you're not going to be able to do it, kind of thing.
You've got to have an eye for just seeing things like, I don't know, like composition and like the light and colours and stuff. I think you do have to have a bit of an eye. And like I got into photography like really late, quite late on, like only a couple of years ago, and I'm 27, so it was quite late. But I have always liked art and things like that. So I don't know if it's like if you have a preference for like visual creative stuff, then maybe I don't know, there's a basis for it in that. But yeah,
definitely, because I guess photography as well is, it's just the way I always see it is, it's literally just the way you see the world, and it shouldn't feel kind of like forced. It's just everyone is so unique in the way that they see the world, and if you are able to capture that, then that kind of makes a good photo. You know, when people say like, oh, this photo would be better if this, when actually like you can't really say that, because it's like that really, what's that cliche saying about like beauty's in the eye of the beholder? Like it's literally that, isn't it? Like if you like it, then that's it, that's all that matters really.
You can't actually really go wrong with photography. Like, you know, when you look at like, when I was like looking up how to use the manual mode and stuff, and it was like proper, you know, how to set the proper exposure, and it's like, well, actually, like in a way there's not a proper exposure, because it's like, well, you might want your photo to look a particular way. So definitely. It's very subjective, isn't it? Yeah,
that's the thing as well. That's what I meant about like it being reduced to science. Like, yes, scientifically there's probably a correct exposure, like, and stuff like that, but like when it comes to art, like it is down to your artistic intention, isn't it? And if you want your whole body of work to be scientifically underexposed, then that's on that. Like, do you know what I mean? That's your work. There's not really anything else to say about it. But in terms of your personal work, do you have kind of like a favorite piece that you want to chat about or show? Or
okay, I think, well, when I guess it's actually a whole set of photos I took last winter, which particularly jump out for me. It was one of those really special times where you get the roll back and you're like, oh my gosh, I like every one. I like all of them. They all came out well. Like normally a few duds, don't you? Like,
oh yeah, more than a few.
Yeah. And I did, in this occasion, I got a couple of rolls back. I liked all of them. That was the first time it happened to me, and I was like, oh my gosh. But basically I took my camera to, I think it was like over a couple of occasions, but to the northwest side of Hampstead Heath, which is nearest to where I live. And it was like I was looking for a really like frosty, misty morning. Been waiting for my moment, and I went like one morning, like just around sunrise, because obviously I'm a woman and I can't go out in the dark.
That's a big thing as well.
But I had to really think about that, but I got there just as it was there was light, so it was fine. And I just took all these photos of like around like the pergola and that sort of side of the heath, and it was like really all these like sort of frosty, misty images. And there's one image in particular that it's like my hand reaching up to touch like the sort of frosty catkins on one of the trees. I'm quite proud of that one.
I'll put it on screen.
That's
everyone can have a little look. Right, so it's the bit that you've been dreading. We're going to go into like a quick fire round. Hydrate quickly. It's very there's only a couple of questions, and you know, it will just be kind of 1 or 2 word answer. If you
can't be a long answer, can it not be? Can't be a rambling answer.
I'll let you, if you really want to, if you really are passionate about something, then you can go into it. But yeah, we'll try and keep it short and get through them all. And then obviously there might be some here that don't kind of like apply to you, so then we can just miss them out, just say, you know what. So for example, I'll start with the first one that might not apply to you. Cinestill 50D or Cinestill 800T. So
I've never tried Cinestill.
Yeah, so okay, all right, then let's go off of like.
I really want to.
It's expensive, isn't it? That's the thing.
That's it. It's expensive, and I'm also a bit like I need to branch out on my brands really with film. That's one of my goals.
Yeah. Oh, me too. I said that. I say that all the time, and then I still shoot the same stuff. But anyway, okay. So you know what they look like? Do we know what they look like? Like the one's the daytime one and one's the nighttime one. Right. Go on then. If you had to choose between them based on what you can think of.
Oh wait. Which one is the sort of the daytime one? Is that the
50D? One? Yeah. It's the blue one. Yeah, it's the blue one. That one.
Yeah. I was just say the red one I've seen some amazing ones with the nighttime one, like the glowy. I'm guessing that's the one with like the glowy sort of like neon. You see it.
The halations.
It's on neons, don't they? Like it's the neon. It's a neon film.
It's the neon one.
They're amazing, but I don't really do that much nighttime photography.
So you have to go with the daytime one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Cinestill 50D, I know I said we keep this bit short, but we're not. The thing about Cinestill 50D is obviously it's 50 ISO. And in England, we don't really have that much sunlight to ever really shoot like a 50 speed. So it's always like a little bit, I never know really when to use it. But, oh well, I have to get somewhere bright, go on holiday.
You have to sort of really think about the light in the UK.
Yeah, definitely.
The sky is often so white here, like, because of the clouds, that you often are going to get like I always struggle with the blowout sky sometimes. And it's because the sky is always like this bright white.
That's so true. I never even thought about that. We do have like a white sky, don't we? It's not even blue, it's just white.
It's often really white.
Yeah, that's so true. I never even thought about that. Like in all my photos, it's just white. Like
all my winter photos, it's like the sky is white, and then in the summer it's like blue. It's like it just switches all of a sudden. I mean, even though it's not that blue right now.
It's not. I was looking at it as well. Like it's very white. All right. Okay. Let's go. Favorite camera brands.
Well, Canon probably, because that's my Canon A1.
Canon. Good choice.
Yeah. I haven't really tried that many though. I've only got an Olympus and a Canon, so
yeah. What about film stock? Favorite film stock?
Might get in trouble. My favorite fallback has always been Kodak Gold.
Yeah, okay, you can't go wrong with Kodak Gold. That's all right.
It's really safe and it's forgiving, but I'm trying to branch out. I've got some of this that I can't wait to try.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that yet. It's expensive though. That's the thing. All the film at the moment, like even Kodak Gold. I remember when I started photography, you used to be able to buy little rolls of Agfa Vista, and you could get them for £1 from Poundland. And like that's just a myth now. Like that just Poundland used to sell them. It was great.
Someone recently gave me that's correct. Someone recently gave me an expired roll of Afghan Vista 200.
But I really liked it. It's kind of like Colour Plus, quite bright and
well, you can't go wrong with that kind of thing, really.
No, I like it. All right, this one I know what you'll say. Theme or digital?
Film.
Yeah. And landscape or portraits?
Landscape.
Okay, this one is like social media. Instagram or Twitter?
Instagram.
YouTube or TikTok?
Probably YouTube. I'm old.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, TikTok confuses me a bit.
Although YouTube, I think TikTok is probably quite a good place to start stuff.
Yeah. It confuses me. Everything about it is just a bit much for me. I'm trying.
I use it sometimes to create reels.
Oh, what, like making it in there? I just find the actual builder to be like difficult.
I use it to get the autos. Maybe I should say I use it to get the music auto sync, because like that, if they do it automatically, and then you can work out.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that.
Make it quicker. Yeah.
That is good. And also I feel like on Instagram as well, you can't add photos, can you? Or have I just not worked out a way?
I think it's really difficult to make Instagram reels in their real thing. I don't think that many people actually do that. They use, I think, other apps to do it, because it's not easy.
It's not, no. All right, shooting with others or shooting alone?
Alone.
Okay. Anyone that went to that photo walk with you is watching this like, oh.
That's why I took like 5 photos. No, it was really, the photo walk for me was more about chatting.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I know it's nice to do stuff with people, especially it's nice when it's like someone who has the same hobby. I struggle because other than my best friend from home before this photo walk, I didn't really have anyone else who had the same interest in film photography, and my boyfriend always get really annoyed at me taking ages. So I think I prefer to be alone, because I just don't want to annoy people.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I find shooting alone is better as well, because you can kind of focus a little bit more, can't you? Otherwise I get caught up with talking, and then I get to the end of it and I haven't taken any photos.
Yeah,
exactly. All right, Kodak or lomography?
Oh, Kodak probably.
Kodak.
I haven't tried. I've got one. I haven't got any. I've got one lomography film that I need to try, but I haven't tried it yet. So.
Which one is it?
I think it is lomography. Yeah, it is. The purple one.
Yeah.
To me, it's a funky one.
Yeah.
My friend Josie gave it to me. It's like something to try, but I've been waiting to like try it in like if I ever went to like America or something, to like in a desert, I think.
Yeah, so, that would look good.
Yeah.
I really like Lomo, like their color negative stuff, like their 400 and 800 stuff. It's a lot more like vibrant than Portra and a little bit cheaper as well, which is always good.
Okay. Yeah, these are be so much more experimental.
Yeah, because they've got that red scale one as well that makes everything go red. Don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I have, but I don't know if I really.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would. I think it's very like novelty, isn't it? It's like quite experimental. It's like I don't know what I would use it on.
What's the one with the aliens as well?
The aliens, the lomography one. I have no idea.
I'm not sure if it is 100% if it is by lomography. There's a film where they've like made like these little alien shapes into the film. It's very weird.
All right.
Maybe it is. I don't know if it
sounds like something lomography might do.
Yeah, they are a bit out there, aren't they?
They are.
I don't know. I can't remember who it is. There is a film anywhere out there that has these aliens in them.
Well, I have to have a look at that. What does it like? It doesn't put it onto the film, does it?
It's like already on the film.
So when you take the like exposure, it's like
I think they're pre-exposed like onto the film or something.
That is crazy. I've never heard anything like that. That is cool though. I'm gonna have a look. I don't know if I'd shoot it myself, but I'll have a look.
Yeah.
And then the last one, color or black and white?
Color. I've never tried black and white. I'm so boring. I've got this. I've had this for ages, and I really want to try it, but haven't done it yet.
To be fair, it took me ages to start shooting black and white because I was always under the kind of like mindset that if I wanted black and white, I'll just change it to black and white. I don't want to miss out on wanting it in color, but yeah, I do like it now, shooting in black and white. I do like it. Just got to be just got to know when you're going to be shooting it, don't you? Don't go somewhere really colourful and then.
I imagine somewhere like London is probably good for black and white because a lot of the buildings are not exactly colourful.
Yeah, and also because you're in a city and stuff, you get the harsh shadows when the light comes through the buildings, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm saving it for like a good day to take it around London, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. You should
maybe on another photo walk, that would be good.
Yeah. So do you know if there's any more of those photo walks going on?
I think they're planning to do more. Yeah. I don't think they've released any dates yet, but I think they're thinking of doing more. Yeah, definitely, but I don't know when.
Perfect. I'll link all that in the description as well if anyone watching is interested. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else you kind of want to say? Any parting words?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like I haven't really asked you anything.
You don't need to ask me
anything. Well, actually, what is your favourite film? I'm interested to know.
For one, I haven't tried it on 35mm, but for 120, it's Lomo 400 or 800. I like both. 800 is more expensive, so let's go 400.
I might try. I think I want to try that. Yeah, that sounds cool.
I've got some 35 in my camera at the moment, but I haven't finished the roll yet, so I'll let you know how that goes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on. I've never had like a YouTube interview before. So.
Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for chatting. I'll link you in the description, and everyone who's watching can go and check out your amazing work.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Amazing. Bye.